Hello guys, I'm Ming. Some of you might know me as Kevin. So, today I've got a real test route for you. So we're over in Isleworth today. Just happened to finish a lesson in the area. I was actually in Brentford about half an hour ago. So just thought I'd pop over to Isleworth and record another Isleworth test route for you guys. Alright, so I've just started a couple of roads away from the test centre so I don't disturb any real driving tests, but the actual test route will be exactly the same apart from going actually down the test centre road itself. Alrighty, so we're just travelling around this road. It's called Morris Road. It's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. And when we get back onto the main road, I'll be turning right, so it'll be right at the mini roundabout. When I get onto that main road, the test centre is actually on the left-hand side. But as I said, we're not starting from the test centre, just a couple of roads away from it. Right, so not too far away from the end of the road here. There's the mini roundabout, so I'll be checking my middle and right mirrors and signalling to the right, slowing the car down because it is a closed junction. I need to have a good view of what's coming from the right hand side before I emerge onto the road. Right, so yeah, the actual test centre is back behind me, so if I was to go back behind me and turn into the next road, which would have been if you're going from this direction, going behind me, you would have to go to the next road and turn right. That's where the test centre is. This bus driver's just stopped here and just chatting away to the other bus driver. A little bit rude considering there's the people behind are getting a bit angry. Two bus drivers just talking there to each other. Interesting. Right, so yeah, that's what bus drivers do apparently. So they stop in the middle of the road, wind their windows down, have a little chit chat, and then drive off again and hold up traffic. That's great. Right, anyway, let's crack on with the rest of this test route. So yeah, we're travelling down Walton Road at the moment, so which is the road just as you come out of the Isleworth Driving Test Centre itself. It's a tight road, as you can see. There's many parked cars. So usually when you're driving down this road, you've got to be careful of tricky meeting traffic scenarios, especially when you have big vehicles coming towards you, such as large vans or or a bus, of course. When we get to the mini roundabout, we're going to be turning left, so left at the next mini roundabout. Got a meeting traffic scenario coming up here. Got another learner driver car coming towards me. So they've just pulled over onto their side of the road, giving me plenty of space to get past. Be checking my middle and left mirrors here. Signal left because we are turning left at this particular roundabout. There's no one coming from the road ahead, so I don't need to give way to anybody. So I can safely turn around the bend. Just continuing down this 20-mile-an-hour speed limit zone. The name of this road is actually still Walton Road, so even though I've turned left at that mini roundabout, I'm still down the same road. And I'll be taking the next road coming up on my right hand side, so it'll be the next road on my right hand side. Just after, sorry, not the next road on my right, because the next road on my right is actually a dead end road, but it'll be the next available road on my right, which I believe is called Heath Road. I'll be able to read the sign when I get a bit closer, checking my middle and right mirrors. Right signal on, just moving over to the left of the centre of the road, looking ahead, looking into the new road and turning in safely without cutting the corner. It is indeed called Heath Road. There's a big lorry coming towards me. There's a lot of room here, so all I need to do is slow down a little bit and allow the lorry driver just to move over to his left hand side, which will give plenty of room for us to get past each other. Right, so down Heath Road, it's quite a wide road to be fair, but it can appear to be quite tight because you have got parked cars on either side of the road. There's a few twists and bends. Again, there could be some tricky meeting traffic scenarios if you do happen to have some big vehicles coming towards you. If it's another car coming towards you, it's not too much of an issue to be fair, because you can squeeze past each other just about enough room for a couple of cars to fit past each other. On my right hand side there is a school coming up. I think it's called Chatsworth. Obviously if you're taking your test around, you know, 3 p.m, half 2 maybe, there's going to be a lot of cars down here where the parents would come and pick up their kids. So do be careful, especially on this particular section here, because as you're driving down this particular road here, it is pretty tight, as you can see from the video clip above, well, ahead of us. There's always parked cars on either side of the road, and it's really quite tricky to get past each other if there is another car coming from the opposite direction. Got a recycling lorry here today, so he's just pulling up on the left. Should have room to get past him, so I'm going to head past this lorry, because if I don't, I'll probably get stuck behind him. And as that white car has stopped to give me space, it's just allowed me a bit of room to get through there. So the car behind's done the same thing. So we're going straight on here at this particular mini roundabout, up and over this bridge. So this bridge just runs over the railway track, so we're pretty near Hounslow station at the moment. So we're just going to go over this humpback bridge. That man was driving quite a bit on my side of the road, to be honest. Not sure why he was so far over. Checking my middle and right mirrors here, because I need to go around this parked vehicle. We're going to be turning into Inwood Road, which is the next road on my right. So checking my middle and right mirrors. Right signal on, slowing the car down, rolling it back into first gear. I'm looking ahead, I'm looking into the new road. I'm turning in without cutting the corner. There is a pedestrian crossing the road, so I've just slowed down and allowed him to cross the road first. I'll be taking my next road on the right hand side, so next road coming up on the right. Checking middle and right mirrors again, right signal on, slowing the car down, looking into the new road. Just turning in without cutting the corner again. Around this bend, parked cars on both sides of the road, just making sure it's safe before I proceed down the road. What's the name of this road? Inwood Road, like I said, yeah, so we're going down Inwood Road. It's quite a long road. So what I'm going to do is carry on going all the way towards the end of this road, and when I get further towards the end of the road I'll be turning right. I believe it's a right turn into Pears Road. Yeah, I mean there's not really much going on at the moment down this particular road, but at certain times of the day it can be quite busy, because a lot of cars do cut through this road because they come off the main road, cut through here to go to wherever they need to go to, I guess. So it can be quite a busy road. So depending on the time of day you're taking your test, so I would say if you're taking your test around from 2 o'clock onwards, it can be quite busy down this particular road. Also if you're taking your test in the morning as well, so around, you know, like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, it can be fairly busy here. But yeah, after 10 o'clock I would say it's fairly quiet around this particular section of road. So here's Pears Road coming up on my right hand side, checking my middle and right mirrors. Right signal on. Again, I'm just slowing the car down to get a proper look into the road before I turn in. There's a pedestrian here. Looks like he wants to cross the road, so I shall allow him to cross the road first. Looking into the road, there could be some construction works going on down this particular road. There's a few parked vans on my right hand side. Alright, so that van's just reversing into the parking space. No big concern to me. I'll be taking the next road on the left, so the next road on the left, which is School Road. So checking my middle and left mirrors, indicate left, again just slowing the car down, looking into the road before I turn in, making sure there aren't any pedestrians crossing or waiting to cross the road. Okay, so when we get to the end of the road I'll be turning right, so turning right at the end of the road. There is actually a set of traffic lights at the end of this road. They're quite hard to see because they're hidden by that building on the left hand side, so you can barely see them on approach, but here they are. So checking the mirrors again, right signal on. So this particular road is School Road, and now I'm turning on to the High Street. There's 2 lanes as you join this particular road here, so I'm just going to find myself into the left lane, because the left lane is for normal driving, and I'll be turning left at the traffic lights anyway. So checking my mirrors again, middle and left, and giving a left signal. So like I said, this road is called High Street. It's the A315, and we're just by Hounslow bus garage at the moment, so this is a very busy area. Again, depending on the time of day. I mean, it's 11:45 at the moment, so at the minute it's not too busy, but you can imagine if you came down here during rush hour, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be pretty heaving around this area. Alright, so just waiting patiently for the traffic lights to change. We'll be turning down Kingsley Road. So that particular road leads you down towards Hounslow East Tube Station, so Hounslow East Underground Station. Usually this road is busy again. I mean, we're in Hounslow, so it's always busy around here, but it will depend on the time of day. Like I said, at the moment it's 11:45, it's not too busy, but if you do have your test during rush hour 8 in the morning and you did happen to come down this road, you would expect to find a lot of things going on. Lots of cars, people running around, catching buses, crossing the road, trying to run to the tube station. So obviously your awareness and planning skills have to be tip-top condition on during that particular time of day. So here's the tube station on my right hand side. Got a light controlled pedestrian crossing here. Nobody at the crossing, so the lights were unlikely to change. As you get a little bit further up the road, so when you go past this Select Chicken on your right hand side, it can get quite crowded here because you've got parked cars on the right hand side, and if it was busy you could have some crazy tricky meeting traffic scenarios. But like I said, it's not very busy at this time of day, so it's fairly free flowing. Coming up to a zebra crossing, checking left and right, just making sure there's no one waiting to cross the road before I proceed. Yep, safe to go on. There was a cyclist there. He looks like he might want to cross the road, but in the end he didn't. So when I get to the mini roundabout, so there's a mini roundabout coming up at the end of this road, I'll be turning right, so right at the mini roundabout. Checking my middle and right mirrors. The right signal comes on, slowing the car down so I can look to my right hand side properly. Right, there's no one coming from the right hand side, so we can safely nip across here. Right, so the name of this road is Spring Grove Road, so we're travelling down Spring Grove Road. The speed limit on this particular road is 20 mile an hour. It's quite a narrow, tight road, as you can see from the cars coming towards you. There's not too much room to squeeze past each other, especially when you're going around these bends, so do be careful. Don't force your way through if there are cars coming from the opposite direction. Look down the road, see if there are any places where you can pull in if you can't get past. In a moment we'll be coming up to a mini roundabout, so at the next mini roundabout we'll be following the road ahead, so it'll be the second exit at the next mini roundabout. There is a big rubbish lorry there. He's stopped there to let the pedestrians cross the road. Fair enough. And yeah, like I said, we'll be going straight on here at this particular mini roundabout. Just looking at that van over there, he's going straight as well, so it's safe for me to carry on. Still in the 20 zone, guys, so I don't believe we've been in any other speed zone since we've left the test centre road. If you're taking your test in Isleworth, you're probably going to find most of the roads that you're going to be driving on will be a speed limit of 20 miles an hour. There are still a few 30 mile an hour roads left in and around the Isleworth test centre test routes, and of course if you were to use the dual carriageways, so the A4 or the A316, then the speed limit on those dual carriageways will be 40 miles an hour. But other than that, most of the times you'll be plodding along at 20 mile an hour, taking the next road on the left. Check my mirrors, left signal on. I'm slowing the car down. It's quite a tight turn, so I'm going to go especially slow here and go back into first gear. Round a bend, there's nothing coming from the opposite direction, so it's safe for me to proceed with my journey. I believe this road is called Eversley Road. Let's just check with my sat nav. Yep, Eversley Road. So yeah, this road will just continue round the bend. Let's have a look to see if there's anyone coming round the bend. Someone's just flung the door open. And then it just becomes Burlington Road. So as I come round the next right bend here, it becomes Burlington Road. So if you come down this road, guys, during your driving test on this particular test road, test route, don't be surprised if the examiner gets you to do an emergency stop down here, or perhaps one of the manoeuvres, either pulling up on the right and reversing 2 car lengths and then driving back off again, or as you've probably seen, there's plenty of opportunity for the examiner to ask you to do a parallel park down this particular road. So I'm turning left at the end of the road. That will take me onto Thornbury Road. Car coming from my right, so I'm just going to wait for that car to go past first. In fact, there's a couple of cars now, so I'll be stopped here for a few more seconds, continuously checking to make sure it's safe. Nothing coming from ahead of where this bus is. Safe to carry on going. So this is Thornbury Road. If you've done a lot of lessons in and around the area, you probably know this road. It just takes you back up to the A4, which is the one of the dual carriageways that you can possibly come across if you take your test at Isleworth Test Centre. So yeah, just heading towards the A4 now. So when I get to the traffic lights, I'll be turning left onto that dual carriageway. Right, so the traffic lights have just gone green. Okay, so they might stay green, they might not, so I'll be prepared to stop again, obviously, as I get a little bit closer to the traffic lights. Just going to go past this road on my left hand side before I check my mirrors and give a signal, so it doesn't confuse other road users as to which road I actually want to take. Right, so just stopping safely behind the car in front, making sure I can see the bottom of his tyres, so you've got the following the tyres and tarmac rule. So yeah, like I said, we'll be going left at the traffic lights when they go green, and that will take us down the A4 back towards the Hounslow area. So we're actually in Osterley at the moment. Yes, Osterley tube station is just on the left hand side. If you were to go straight here, you would end up towards Osterley Park. So yeah, I mean, like I mentioned before, if you've done a few lessons in and around the area, you might know the roads around here. So if you're going straight towards Osterley Park, there's a lot of residential roads towards the park itself, and round the back of the tube station. So that's another famous area where the examiners can take you to do one of the manoeuvres. Yeah, the bay parking actually. So obviously if you get bay parking in your driving test, it's more than likely going to be at the driving test centre itself, because they do have parking bays there, or in my experience they tend to go to Twickenham Tesco car park or Osterley Tesco's car park. Right, anyway, we're down the A4 now, so heading back towards Hounslow. It's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit on this particular road, so of course you can build up your speed up to 40. Driving in the left lane, because that's the normal lane to be driving in, unless you're overtaking or planning to turn right. Once you go over this humpback bridge, you're going to find that the lanes split into 3 different lanes. So your lane will either be the middle or the left. So I'm checking my middle and left mirrors because I just want to glide back over to that left lane to make sure that I'm following the left lane for normal driving. At the next set of traffic lights, I'll be following the signs directing me back towards Hounslow, so left at the traffic lights, following the signs back towards Hounslow. Once again, the traffic lights have been green for some time, so I'm just anticipating that the traffic lights may change back to red by the time I get there. And if they do, I should be prepared to stop. There you go, they've changed, so I'm checking my mirrors before I slow down. I'm turning left, so I'm going to give a left signal, so check my mirrors again, signal left, letting people know that I want to take the road on the left hand side. Right, because the lights have just gone green, they've just gone red, they might take a while before they go back to green again, so just going to sit here patiently waiting for the lights to turn green. So if it takes too long, I'll just end up fast forwarding or speeding up this part of the video, so you don't have to sit around watching me wait for the traffic lights to change. Right, so around the bend after the traffic lights have turned green. So we're coming up to 2 mini roundabouts here. Going to be turning right at the first mini roundabout and then turning left at the second mini roundabout. So checking my middle and right mirrors. Right signal on. Slowing the car down to have a good look to the right hand side. Nothing coming from the right. I'm going to turn left, so just making sure I'm back in the left lane here, checking my mirrors. Left signal on, no one I need to give way to. So we're now down Lampton Road. So the speed limit down Lampton Road, or this part of Lampton Road, is actually 30 miles an hour. So I'll be driving a little bit faster than 20 if safe to do so. Just making sure no one's waiting to cross at the zebra crossing. Right, looks pretty clear ahead, so yeah, I'm going to be keeping my speed closer to 30 miles an hour. The speed limit will eventually change back down to 20 miles an hour when you get a little bit closer to Hounslow Central Tube Station. So that's a little bit further up the road. But if it is safe to do so, obviously keep your speed closer to 30 miles an hour. A lot of people don't realise that it's actually a 30 road. Continue to drive at 20, so you would get marked down for undue hesitation by your driving examiner in your driving test if you were going too slow. Checking middle and right mirrors here so I can go past this parked van and this parked car. Checking middle and left mirrors before I return back to my normal driving position. As you can see here, we've got the 20 mile an hour speed signs, 20 mile an hour written on the road markings. So I've dropped my speed back down to 20 now. And in any case, there's a bit of a traffic jam here, so I can't be going too fast. On my left hand side is Hounslow Central Underground Station. So again, depending on the time of day when you're taking your driving test, it can be quite busy around here, particularly during rush hour. You can imagine a lot of people will be jumping out of the train station or trying to run to catch the train, so do be extra careful if you're taking your test around busy periods. We're going straight on at the next set of traffic lights. So at this particular set of traffic lights, if you're coming from this direction, going back towards Hounslow town centre, you're going to need the right lane to go straight, because the left lane only turns left. So try and remember that, guys. If you're going straight here, use the right lane, because the left lane only goes left. So it's the junction with the hotel. So you've got Travel Lodge here on the right hand side. I think there's a Gold's Gym there on my left hand side as well. And there's another hotel just after the Travel Lodge. Yep, the Ramada Hotel. So there's a lot of landmarks here you can use to remember this particular junction. Alright, so now we're going to follow the road around to the right hand side. So following this bend as it curves around to the right hand side. I have seen people come down this road and just go straight here because they think the road continues straight on, but it's actually just a very sharp right bend. And as soon as you've gone round that right bend, there is a bus lane on your left, so avoid that bus lane because you can't use that bus lane at any time of the day. I'm going to be turning left now at the next set of traffic lights, so turning left at the next set of traffic lights. Right, so the road I'll be turning in is called Steve Biko Way. Steve Biko Way. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that road, or that word Biko, but that's a one-way road. So when you turn into that road, depending on where you want to go, so if you want to turn left, get yourself straight into the left lane. If you want to turn right at the end of the road, get yourself into the right lane. So on this particular test route, you're going to be required to turn left at the end of that road. So when I go around the bend, I'll be selecting the left hand side lane immediately, so straight away. So around the bend, keep myself in the left lane, go around the bus who's stationary at the bus stop. I think these are actually bus stands, so what you're going to find when you're driving down this particular road, quite often there'll be buses just stationary in these bus stands, so just watch out for them moving off. I mean, this one's indicating right, so he probably wants to move off. He might be indicating right, or he might just have his hazard lights on. I think he's got his hazards on because he's not moving. Right, anyway, so there's two lanes here. I'm going to go into the right lane because there's a van stopped on the left hand side, and in actual fact we're going to be turning right soon, so I'm just going to keep myself in the right lane here as we follow the road ahead. Usually when you come round this bend, you're going to find a lot of buses stopped on the left hand side because there's a couple of bus stops here. Again, another busy section of Hounslow. So as I come around this next bend, again I'm just going to keep myself in the right hand side lane because I'll be turning right at the traffic lights. Okay, so here's the traffic lights, checking my middle and right mirrors, signal right. So once I've turned right, I'll be inside the road called Bell Road, so turning right into Bell Road here. Yeah, it's quite tricky behind me actually, because you've got all those buses who potentially stop on the left hand side. So depending on where you want to go, try and plan your journey ahead. So if you know you're going to be turning down Bell Road, just get yourself in the right lane so you don't have to change lanes last minute. If you're going straight, so straight ahead at this junction, you're probably going to be following the left lane because the left lane is for normal driving. But just bear in mind as you go around that bend, so 2 bends behind me, there could be a lot of buses, so you might have to change into the right lane to get around the buses. So yeah, make sure you make good use of your mirrors there and give any signals if necessary. Okay, so we're down Bell Road now. Just going to follow the road towards the traffic lights, and then at the traffic lights we're going to be going straight ahead, so it'll be signposted towards Twickenham and Witton. So just following the road ahead at the traffic lights. They've been green for a while, they might change, but I'm a little bit too close to the line to be stopping even if they did change. Anyway, so we've got another bend in the road here, so I'm just going to follow this road as it curves back around the bend, and then I'll be taking the next road coming up on the left hand side. So checking my middle and left mirrors, signal left. It's a very sharp turn, this one, like a 90 degree bend, so I would recommend you slow the car down completely and go back into first gear. You're now travelling down a one-way road, one-way street, so you don't have to worry about cars coming towards you. End of the road, turning right, middle and right mirrors, right signal on. Because I'm turning right, I'm going to keep my car positioned more to the right hand side. Let's look both ways. Okay, looks safe to go. So off we go. When we get to the end of this road, we're going to be turning left. So we're actually down Inwood Road again here. So this is a road that we've used earlier on in the test routes. So just turning left here back onto Heath Road, just making our way back to the driving test centre now. Right, so yeah, just down Heath Road, heading back towards the test centre. So in my opinion, this test route isn't too difficult. It doesn't involve any of those big roundabouts on the A316. However, there are a lot of tight, bendy sort of roads with parked cars on either side, so you have to be careful about you know, when you've got tricky meeting traffic scenarios. But other than that, I don't think this test route is too much of a challenge. Yeah, and if you got this test route, yeah, well, if I got this test route, I'd be pretty happy with it, to be honest. Right, just checking ahead here, making sure there's no one coming before I proceed down the road. There is a black Mercedes. I'll be checking my middle and left mirrors before I move over to the left hand side. Checking my middle and right mirrors again before I move back out to the right hand side. Right, so yep, still down Heath Road, heading down towards the end of the road, and then when we get to the end of the road, I'll be taking a left turn, which will take me back onto Walton Road, and then shortly after we'll be going back towards the driving test centre at Isleworth. Car coming towards me, he's slowed down. Check my middle and left mirrors before I move back to my normal driving position. Check middle and right mirrors again before I move back out into the middle of the road so that I can avoid the parked cars on the left hand side. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of mirror checking going on when you're driving down that particular road because you're constantly changing direction. So here middle and left because I'm moving back over to the left. Checking middle and right here before I move back out around this parked car. Left turn here, so middle and left mirrors, left signal. Slowing the car down. Check to my right hand side before I emerge out. Nothing coming apart from a bus, but he's very far away. So we're now back onto Walton Road. So I'll be turning right when I get to the mini roundabout, so right at the next mini roundabout, heading back towards the driving test centre. There's a parked van ahead of me, so I'll be checking my middle and right mirrors here before I move out around the parked van. Checking my middle and right mirrors again because I need to signal, because I'm turning right at this roundabout and there's no one coming from the right hand side. Continuing down Walton Road. Okay, so we're literally a minute or so away from the driving test centre now. You might recognise the road. It's the road where you've got the parked cars on either side with the speed bumps everywhere. So like I said before, just be careful of any tricky meeting traffic scenarios as you drive down this road. Right, that lorry's turning right. Okay, that's fine. It's safe for us to carry on. As I come past this pub here on the left hand side, the road does get fairly narrower because of the parked cars on either side again. Checking middle and right mirrors before I move out. There's nothing coming towards me on this occasion, so I can use a little bit of extra space on my right hand side and move a little bit further away from those parked cars on the left. Checking middle and left mirrors. Going to turn left at this particular roundabout, and then we're back where we started from basically. Yep, and that concludes that test route, guys. So thanks for watching. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed the video, please give the video a like. Yeah, share the video if you if you've got any friends or family who are taking their tests over at Isleworth. Yeah, and I would really appreciate it obviously if you subscribe to my channel, so every subscription I get helps the channel grow and kind of spurs me on to make more content similar to this. So anyway guys, if you have got a test at Isleworth, I wish you all the best and good luck, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video guys, so take care and bye for now.